Welcome to Stone Watch. Mandalorian Season 2, Chapter 16, The Rescue has arrived. Stone Watch, a YouTube story, men and women t-shirts and coffee mugs now available on teespree.com. Help support the show by getting yours today. I'll have a link down in the description. Wow, man, just wow. Chapter 16, The Rescue, the season finale for Mandalorian Season 2, and what a great episode it was. Written by Jon Favreau, and Peyton Reed comes back in to direct and gets the honor to close this awesome season out. Now, I'll have to admit, when I first heard it, he was going to be directing the season finale, I was kind of like, really? Because I have to say that I did like his chapter 10 this season, but it was kind of so-so for me. It wasn't my favorite one out of the season, so I was kind of like, really, man? I don't know. But I have to say, he found his groove for this episode. I mean, from start to finish, it's action-packed and nothing but awesome stuff. I just can't express it enough on how cool this episode really was. Unfortunately, we only had a 46-minute runtime for this week. I was kind of hoping for a little bit longer than that, but it is longer than 30 minutes, so I'll just take what I can get. Now, I know I've been whining about it all season long, but what can I say? I really like this show and I just want to get more and more of it. You know what I mean? Now for the last weekly ranking, I'm going with Reed's Chapter 16 takes number 1, Favreau is number 2, Filoni is number 3, Rodriguez holds on to number 4, and Femi Yua in number 5, followed by Howard in 6, Weathers in 7, and Reed's books end the season with the last slot. Man, this season has been so awesome. Where do the episodes rank with you? Let me know in the comments down below. With that being said, I am now heading into spoilers for Chapter 16. Here's a quick rundown on this week's episode. An Imperial shuttle is chased down and disabled by Slave One, and Mando and Cara Dune board and capture Dr. Pershing. Next, they enlist the help of Bo-Katan and Koska Reeves in return for Bo-Katan getting Gideon's cruiser and the Darksaber. The group uses the shuttle to get in close enough to crash land on Gideon's cruiser, with Fett pretending to attack them with Slave One. Bo-Katan, Reeves, Fennec, and Dune fight their way through stormtroopers to the cruiser's bridge. Meanwhile, Mando finds the Dark Troopers about to deploy. He barely defeats one of them using the Beskar spear and ejects the rest into space. When he finally reaches Grogu's cell, Moff Gideon is there with the Darksaber held over Grogu's head. Gideon tries to trick Mando by saying he can take the child and leave his ship. With his back turned, Gideon strikes and the fight is on. Mando uses the Beskar spear to fight Gideon and wins. He then takes handcuffed Gideon to the bridge where everybody else is. We then find out because he defeated Gideon, he is now the rightful owner of the Darksaber. The ejected Dark Troopers fly back into the ship and attack. Before they are overwhelmed, Jedi Luke Skywalker arrives and easily defeats all the Dark Troopers. Now the saddened Mando gives Grogu the permission to go with Luke Skywalker and R2-D2 to complete his training. Now I thought the opening scene with Slave One chasing down that Imperial shuttle was totally badass. Now I wonder whether or not if they actually knew that Pershing was aboard that shuttle, or that was just a random shuttle that they were going to use for their little rescue plan. We get a confirmation from one of the pilots that Pershing is a cloning engineer, but that's all we get out of him, because after taunting Dune about being on the Death Star and watching Alderaan being blown to bits, she shoots him in the head. I thought it was pretty interesting when Mando and Fett initially go to Bo-Katan to ask her for her help. She's like, no, I can't help you. Even after he throws in the, hey, they've got the kid. She's like, who? Moff Gideon. She's like, still, no, I can't help you. You'll never find him. Because then Mando says, I've got the coordinates. And then she's all interested. And when she finds out for a fact that she can get a hold of Moff Gideon and the Darksaber, then she's all in. And the fight between Koska Reeves and Boba Fett was pretty damn cool. I loved how she used the jetpack to throw a little more oomph in her body slam. Actually, I think all the fight scenes in this episode were pretty damn cool. I mean, Mando versus the Dark Trooper, he threw everything he had at that thing before he ended up using the Beskar spear to tear its head off. And the fight between him and Moff Gideon using the Darksaber was totally awesome. Now, Moff Gideon was pretty skilled with that Darksaber, but I think Mando was a lot better at hand-to-hand combat, because he seemed like to take him out pretty damn easily. And then when he took him up to the bridge in handcuffs with the Darksaber in his hand, Bo-Katan just gave him that look like, what the hell did you do? Because you remember on the shuttle ride over, she said that he had to surrender to her. Now, when Mando goes to hand over the Darksaber to Bo-Katan, Moff Gideon says she cannot accept it, because the only way to become possession of the Darksaber, you have to win it in hand-to-hand combat. Now, that's how Darth Maul got possession of the Darksaber in the Clone Wars. He challenged Pre Vizsla to hand-to-hand combat and won. Now, when Sabine Wren got possession of the Darksaber in Rebels, she just seemed to find it, and then she handed it over to Bo-Katan, so maybe that'll be like some kind of a rule that we find out in Mandalorian Season 3, that you actually actually have to win the Darksaber in hand-to-hand combat in order to actually wield it as the ruler of Mandalore. You actually have to win it. You can't just get it handed to you, because obviously now that Bo-Katan doesn't have it. Now, I wonder whether or not we're going to see how she lost the Darksaber. Did she actually lose it in combat to Moff Gideon? Hope we get to see that. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, I thought it was pretty weird when the ejected Dark Troopers from space came back aboard the ship and started attacking the bridge, which was looking pretty grim for our heroes on their bridge for a minute there, until a lone X-Wing, which was pretty damn cool, came aboard, and then all of a sudden the Dark Troopers stopped trying to get onto the bridge, turn around to face the person that just landed on the ship. I don't understand why they did that. I mean, I just don't get it. As many times as I've watched this episode in preparation to make this video, I still don't understand why they stopped trying to get on the bridge. You know what I mean? It was just kind of weird. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Now, I have to admit, when I first saw the X-Wing coming in for a landing, I'm like, they actually going to send Captain Tevian here to try to save the day all by himself? Man, I hope he's got a lot of backup. But then again, I thought, well, maybe it's Ahsoka, but I don't remember her ever flying an X-Wing, but maybe, just maybe. But then I'm like, are they actually going to go there? Are they actually going to go there? And sure enough, the one who answers Grogu's call from Chapter 14 is Jedi Master himself, Luke Skywalker. That's right, Jedi Master himself, Luke Skywalker, shows up and starts wrecking shop. Now, I saw a lot of people online comparing this scene to the Vader scene from Rogue One, and this is pretty close, if not just as cool, as far as I'm concerned. Now, this is a scene from Luke I've been waiting to see since Return of the Jedi. Now, I know this really has nothing to do with Legends, it's all about the movies and what have you, but this thing was so awesome to watch. So awesome. And he just came in, he was like wrecking shop, stabbing, slashing. It was so cool. And the very last droid, he just crushed it with the power of the Force. Now, that was so awesome. I mean, I was so geeking out when I was watching that. Granted, I was at work when I was watching this thing, so I had to kind of control myself. So when I got home and got to watch it again, I'm like, oh man, this is so badass. I can't believe I actually get to see this scene. Now, this was the scene I wanted to see in the sequel trilogy, but we did not get to see, which I'm kind of disappointed, but that's a whole nother video in itself. After Luke reaches the bridge and removes the hood and we get to see his face for the first time, I have to admit that the CGI that they used to make his face look younger wasn't all that good. I mean, sometimes they have that de-aging stuff and it works pretty good, and sometimes it doesn't. Unfortunately, this was one of the times it doesn't. But it didn't really take me out of the scene because I was focused more on what he was saying than anything else. But it was pretty cool to see that Luke was the Jedi that answered Grogu's call, and it was pretty damn cool to see that Mark Hamill came back to reprise his role. And to make it even more cool, Jon Favreau in his interview on Good Morning America confirmed that it actually was Mark Hamill on set filming those scenes. So that's just totally awesome. That makes that scene even more badass, just knowing that Mark Hamill was even there. And granted, the CG wasn't all that great, but Mark Hamill was actually there. He got to be the Luke Skywalker that we all wanted to see. That is so damn cool. Now, I have to say that scene we had to watch Din Djarin say goodbye to Grogu so he can go take off with Luke Skywalker to learn how to be a Jedi is like a really heartfelt scene. Now, I saw a lot of people online saying that they were crying and what have you. Now, I'm not going to say I was crying, but I definitely felt the weight of that scene. Myself being a parent of two girls, I've been in that situation myself more times than I care to admit. Now, plus it was a really powerful scene because Grogu, in his own little way, asked Din Djarin to remove his helmet so he could actually see his face, and he did. And all those other people that are all in the same room all seen him with his helmet off. So I wonder how they're going to tackle that in Mandalorian Season 3. I mean, he's got his helmet off. All them people, they're still alive, and he still has his helmet off. So I wonder how, like, his little religious zealous group is going to take that. He's taken his helmet off at least a couple times now. We'll just have to wait and see how that all plays out. Now, this week we got something a little bit different at the end of the episode. Most of the time, it's just a bunch of concept art on how they put the episode all together. We didn't get that this time. It was just a black screen with plain old credits and what have you. Now, I have to admit, I got a little heads up, like I think it either was a Facebook post or a tweet that was basically saying that there was something a little extra at the end of the episode. Just watch the end of the credits. So I have to admit, I was spoiled a little bit. I'm okay, I guess I got to watch the end of this. And sure enough, we have an end credit scene. We start off seeing the twin sons of Tatooine, and it pans over to Jabba's palace. We go inside, we find Bib Fortuna sitting on Jabba's throne, and it looks like he's trying to fill it out. You know what I'm saying? The next thing we know, Fennec Shan shows up, and she starts taking people out left and right. And Boba Fett comes in, and Bib Fortuna's like, "Hey, Boba, I thought you were dead. I heard rumors." And Boba shoots him, knocks him off the throne, and takes his place on Jabba's throne. Now, this was a teaser trailer for another Star Wars series coming to Disney Plus, The Book of Boba Fett. Now, Jon Favreau, in his interview on Good Morning America, confirmed that The Book of Boba Fett will be dropping on Disney Plus in December of 2021. He also confirmed that The Mandalorian Season 3 will also be dropping on Disney Plus on Christmas of 2021, and they are two separate projects. They are not the same series. They're all tied together in the same universe, but they're not the same series. There was some confusion last Friday when we first saw that footage, and nobody's like, oh, what's going on? Because they weren't part of the same announcement that we got from the Disney Investors Day 2 weeks ago on December 10th, where Kathleen Kennedy said Mandalorian Season 3 was going to drop on Disney Plus on Christmas of 2021, but she didn't say anything about the Book of Boba Fett announcement. They were saving that for the Mandalorian season finale on last Friday. And they also said that they have 2 other series that's tied to this. They got the Ahsoka series, where it brings Rosario Dawson back as Ahsoka Tano, and Rangers of the New Republic. Now, there's no announcements yet as far as who's going to be in the Rangers of the New Republic. A lot of people are speculating it's going to be Cara Dune, Captain Tevye, maybe in Bill Burr's character, Mayfield, comes in to be part of the crew. We're not really sure just quite yet because they haven't really said anything. Hopefully, we'll get some more news on that pretty soon. Now, he also said in that interview, like I said earlier on in the video, that Mark Hamill did reprise his role as Luke Skywalker for that kick-ass scene. That's just so cool, just even knowing it. And every time I say that, it makes that scene even more better. Now, granted, the CGI wasn't all that great, but man, just even thinking about it, that's just so cool. So, I don't know, man. It's kind of a bummer that Mandalorian Season 2 is already over, but from what we can tell, we've got a lot more to look forward to. We've got at least 4 series that's going to be tied into the Mandalorian. We're going to have our own Mandoverse. Yeah, that's what I said. Mandoverse. Get ready to it, because I'm going to be saying that phrase a lot. What you think about Luke showing up, being the one who answers Grogu's call? Let me know in the comments down below. I mean, I think it makes the most sense. I mean, in the timeline that we have right now, he is the most powerful Jedi that we know of. So it makes the most sense he would be the one to answer Grogu's call. I mean, I was kind of hoping to be somebody else, someone we didn't know, just for something new. But again, to me, it makes the most sense, and it was pretty awesome to see, I have to say. I also wanted to bring up, we lost another Star Wars family member last week. Jeremy Bulloch, the man who originally played Boba Fett in the original trilogy, passes away at 75. That's just a total bummer, man. We've lost so many members of the Star Wars families in the recent years. Carrie Fisher, Kenny Baker, Peter Mayhew, David Prowse a few weeks ago passed away, and now Jeremy Bulloch. It's just a bummer, man. Just a bummer. My condolences to his family and friends. And it's just a total bummer, man. I mean, we're celebrating Star Wars and the Mandalorian and stuff like that, and this stuff kind of happens, and you're just, oh man, it's a total bummer. So, I don't know, man. So what did you think about this last episode from the Mandalorian Season 2? Let me know in the comments down below. What was your favorite part? Let me know in the comments down below. How cool was it to find out that Mark Hamill actually reprised his role as Luke Skywalker? Totally awesome in my book. I mean, totally awesome. That just makes me geek out so much, man. Just so much. So let me know what you think in the comments down below.